Man, Mike, how about them Cowboys? I mean, what a great week to have some Dallas Cowboys football. In 4 days, in the span of 4 days, Cowboys fans, we were able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles on a 21-point comeback and then show Thanksgiving dominance to the Kansas City Chiefs, 31-28. If you haven't seen us already yet, I'm your host, Slayer James. I got my co-host Mike right across from me. Also, we have officially hit 200 subscribers, so there's going to be a lot to kind of go through during this episode. Thank you for all your support. We hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. And Mike, man, I got to say it again, but how about them Cowboys? I mean, this is something crazy that I don't think a lot of people expected to see to start the season. When people thought about the Cowboys' schedule, they thought there would be a lot of losses in this section. And ever since the trade deadline, we have gone 3-0. First time with a good winning streak and now officially a winning record. It is awesome. Mike, I'm going to give the floor to you. What is your reaction to this?
I think it's great, man. The team had a lot of adversity, as you mentioned, in the first half of the season. You know, with the struggling defense and moments of struggle on offense due to how the games were playing out with the defense having the issues it was having. But as far as this last three games and all the changes that have taken place, I personally couldn't ask for much more. You know, it's been a lot of fun to watch. It's been a lot of fun to be a fan at this time of year. I'm really excited about the rest of the year, you know, and I would say that playoffs or no playoffs at this point, just to see the potential of what this team can be moving forward with this as a basis, you know, as the core of the team, you know, looking even into next year. And I'm not by any means saying that it's time to look at next year because there's still a lot of opportunity here, you know, as we get ready to face Detroit and take on the Lions at home, who have also faced some adversity this year, but, you know, their season's on the line as well. But yeah, it's awesome, you know, revisiting the still upset and still can't figure it out Eagles fan base, and now to add, you know, the overconfident Chiefs fan base to that list as well. As you know, they all but thought it was going to be a guaranteed victory, and despite Mahomes playing at a very high level here at AT&T Stadium, we came out on top, 31-28. Couldn't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, so as we're filming this, it is Saturday afternoon, right around 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we have witnessed the Eagles lose yesterday, which is kind of opening the door again for potentially could the Cowboys win the division, right? And you're
Sure.
starting to see them crumble, and you still know that they have a tough road ahead, and you know that Dallas may have a chance to pull off something cool, which would be win the division if the Eagles keep crumbling. Now, like you said, Dallas's next big opponent will be Detroit, and then after that, I'm sure we're going to be favored in every game going from there. But man, that Kansas City Chiefs game, not to get away from that, we started off like real rough. Like I remember that game started, we got the ball first, and the first thing that happens is Dak throws that interception. You know, he saw George Pickens coming on that out route, and then I'm pretty sure it was Watson. He drops back and he just lurks him. Like he just
Well,
didn't see
his
it
arm got
coming.
hit too. His arm got hit too as he was releasing the ball. So it was a
Yeah.
little rough. But yeah, man, like you said, the stadium was roaring. Everybody was excited. You know, Thanksgiving's a big game for Dallas.
Hmm.
And, you know, the crowd was silent well into the second quarter after that.
Yeah, and it was crazy because you saw like a pool of red almost going on at the beginning of the game. A lot of whether they're actually Chiefs fans or all of a sudden became Chiefs fans after last year. They're all
Yeah.
Cowboys fans who left. You can't come back now. Let me put that out there. You can't come back.
Yeah.
But
We don't want you back.
we don't want you back. Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, no, don't kid. That's no joke. That's serious right there. Keep
Yeah,
keep him
but
on whatever flavor of the week he's on this week.
yeah,
Anyway.
but yeah, that's it. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into a tangent about him. Not worth my time. Not worth my words. But yeah, that
Right.
guy is something else. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they go down and score, and then all of a sudden we're like worried. We're like, oh my gosh, they just drove down there like there's nothing. You're getting flashes of pre-trade defense going on here, and you're like, uh oh, this could be troublesome. Well, all of a sudden, the guy that apparently wasn't on our team anymore, I don't know if you knew this, but there's CD Lamb. He's on our team, by the way. I don't know if
Oh
anyone
yeah,
knew
yeah,
this.
yeah. I've never heard of that guy.
He burns McDuffie. Like, I mean, burns McDuffie for the end zone touchdown. and all of a sudden it's 7-7. Chiefs, they go down and slowly drive. I mean, this defense, it kills me because sometimes we get these teams into the toughest situations and we find a way to let them just get out of it. Like that second drive, you got them to a 3rd and 18, and Mahomes just found a way to barely scramble out of it, which is, it's Mahomes magic. It always happens, which I wasn't surprised by it. And then you had the 4th and goal to an incredible throw to Kelsey. I mean, you couldn't stick that any closer to his helmet. But after that moment, it was straight Dallas dominance from defense to offense, just straight control of the game. Dak really never kind of slipped up again. Yes, they had a little bit of slowdowns when especially when Dak's just trying to rip a ball into like a window that he shouldn't be trying, or
They
even like
definitely game planned for his throwing habits.
yeah.
They were definitely lurking in the middle of the field. They had design sets for that. Just people fading out of their coverage to muddy it up for him. But he navigated it well.
Yeah, so let's kind of hit the defensive side of the ball here. Let's get focused on that. How do you feel with Matt Eberflus's game plan? Are you starting to get a better idea of what kind of defense he wants to run since the post trade? Are you getting a better idea, or is it still kind of the same? We just have the talent and the depth now. I know we've kind of hit on it lately, but I don't know if you have more of a clear answer.
Well, I'm not by any means an expert of football, and I
Yeah.
do not know the NFL coverages in and out. I know basic. I have a basic knowledge of football, but I can understand what they're trying to do a lot of the times if I watch it enough. And I've watched 3 games in a row, all the way through, every play from both teams on both sides of the ball. And I'm definitely seeing him be more comfortable with what he wants to do in every situation. Now, I'm going to finish off my answer, but I just want to touch on one thing that
Hmm.
plays into the offense a little bit, even though we're talking about defense. The only thing that I can criticize about the 3 games we've seen from Dallas after the bye is we're getting off to just a little bit of a slow start, both offensively and defensively. As we know, the first 15 plays of offense and defense are typically well scripted, they're well rehearsed, they're practiced. It's the best designs they have for what they're going to be playing against. And it just seems like we're just getting off. And I don't know if it's just because that's the NFL and it takes a little bit of a time to get your team acclimated and comfortable with what they're trying to do against you, or if it's just our team's performance and them doing what they're supposed to do that's causing them to just be a little short on some things, and we're not getting off to that quick momentum. Now I know Dak threw the interception due to being pressured, and I'm pretty sure he was touched. But that's the only thing I've noticed in the last 3 games is there's a little bit of an inconsistency on how fast we're getting off to what we want to be doing. But defensive execution has definitely gotten so much better. I know what to expect on my coverages now watching film. I know that they're going to do their job. And as you saw yesterday, it takes a very, very special player to do a very, very special thing in order to just flat out beat what we're doing on defense right now. I mean, you've got Mahomes scrambling, breaking a tackle, hurdling a second attempt tackle, and then throwing the ball 45 yards to get a play on us at all. Because if you look at everything else, everything they tried to do, we either were able to maintain it, minimize it, or stop it altogether, except for those times where, you know, he just went player to player and they're going to do what they're paid millions and millions of dollars to do with the skill sets they have. But
Hmm.
yes, to answer your question, my answer is yes.
Yeah, when looking at Matt Eberflus and what he's doing, it seems like there is a lot more. They're more comfortable in this kind of scheme
Absolutely.
that they're running,
Yeah.
and it's creating a chemistry now because
Right.
now that maybe you could be a little bit more aggressive. Like the funniest thing was against Philly, we like Ray Stewart kept running up to the line, ready to blitz every time, and it's like this game you didn't blitz as much,
Too
you
much
know.
speed in their offense.
they must have known that with the offensive line trouble that they were having and the speed like you're talking about on their offensive side, you knew that your front four or front five could get home pretty quick compared to what you're going to get against Philly because they still have a very good offensive line put together. But that was one of the things I noticed off this like jump is like we're not blitzing Ray Stewart as much and we're staying back, which is good because all the speedy receivers you got going on.
Plus,
But
you know,
our pass,
Mahomes can do things to you, so that's the
mm-hmm,
thing. It's like you can't have two negatives at the same time. You can't have somebody out on defense running around and have Mahomes out running around too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like cover everybody, minimize the damage from Mahomes, or you attack Mahomes and you leave somebody who's faster than us running around out there. And it happened regardless. You know, they even had overshown spying on Mahomes on a couple of plays. And I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the league I would rather have spying on Mahomes right now than Overshown. And it didn't seem to matter a whole lot.
Yeah, Mahomes is it's a special, very, very, very special quarterback. So for when I saw that 3rd and 18 happen, I was like, of course, happens to
Right.
us. But it's one of those things where it's like overshown. That's the best you're gonna get covering him, and if it doesn't happen, then it's just not meant to be. But I mean, this was a very good game for the defense to contain a very mobile, pass happy quarterback. And even with the run, the whole second quarter, it felt like they were just running the ball. I mean, they were very successful in the run at some points. And in the second half, we finally shut it down. That's what forced Mahomes to drop back a lot more and caused
Yeah.
the sacks that Javion Clowney had. And special shout out to Clowney, man. That dude is a fighter. It feels like every time there's a play that extends for more than 2 or 3 seconds, he's chasing after the guy down the field, or he's still chasing the quarterback. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's made a couple plays where you're like, dude, we're 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage. How are you over here
Yeah.
making this play right now? Or
Yeah.
even like the Mahomes sack. I think it was his first one where he's coming from the top of the field down. If you're watching the broadcast view, and all of a sudden one of our guys slip off, and then he hits him for holding the ball too long. And
Yeah.
just credit to a guy who's been in the league for 12, 13 years and just can still
Not giving up.
dominate.
Relentless. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
absolutely relentless. It was excellent to see. You know, I thought our defense played out of their minds for the most part because we got full package Mahomes.
Yes.
We didn't get like a subdued version. We got the tackle breaking, bomb throwing, behind the back tossing, no look pass, chucking,
Stick
full
it to your
bore.
helmet kind of
Yeah,
guy. Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, and he was defeated. It was a gunfight. And our players did their jobs. His player did their jobs, but we just played a little bit better on our defense than their offense was able to defeat, and that's how it goes.
What this game was for me, and we'll get to the offense here in a minute, but what this game was to me was a classic like battle of the QBs, right?
Right.
Because anytime you play Mahomes in the playoffs, they always talk about when it comes with like Josh Allen or Joe Burrow versus Mahomes, it's always about who has the ball last. And the opportunity that Dallas had to not ever give them the ball back at the end of the game is really what pushed it over the line. Because if you do punt the ball back to Mahomes, you're probably going to get some Mahomes magic, whether they get in field goal range and we go to OT, or they
Yeah.
go down there and score. Because that's
Right.
what Mahomes does. I mean, that's what in the playoff games that they talked about for the past 5 years, anytime that someone plays against him, it's about if you're in a tight game, don't give the ball back. And there's a
Right.
reason why. The guy is
Right.
special, but no credit take away from Chiefs fans. Like, you got a QB, and we've seen it with multiple Super Bowl rings from him.
It's like
But,
Tom Brady. Tom Brady was doing that for a while too. You didn't give the ball back to Tom if you're in the lead with any time left. I mean, 52 seconds on the clock. He'd chop you up with 45 seconds on the clock. And that's what
exactly.
Mahomes can do. Thank God we had a 10-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
Because he cut that deficit really really quick. But you said something to me yesterday. It was excellent. It was on the point. That was the first time in a long time we've been in that situation, and we did not have to bite our nails on defense trying to hold the offense off from getting further than field goal range in a long time. The defense,
Yes.
the offense got its first downs as required.
Yeah, like I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot I said that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when I mean, Cowboys fans, comment below, but when was the last time that you had a game where you had over 4 minutes left and you were able just to close it out against a tough opponent, not just against like the 2-13, bad team that year? Like that was a team that was really wanting the ball back, and you found a way to keep, getting first down after first down, whether it was penalties or not. You still found a way to get to that point and be able to do the Landry shift and kneel it out. Now, if you're ready, you want to talk about the offense?
Yeah, we can definitely talk about the offense. And this game, while you're getting ready for that, this game reminds
Yeah.
me of a couple games that come to mind really quick. The one of them was that duel that Dak had with Seattle a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the most fun games I've watched in the last 5 years. And then the most, just with the stage and the caliber of player, the teams and then the quarterbacks that are in the game. The other one, you can probably guess what it reminds me of. That was of this magnitude, and that was when it was Peyton versus Tony.
Yeah, that was
And
2013.
yeah, that big shootout that was just win or lose. We lost that game, but it was just so much fun to watch. Two teams that were quality teams with excellent quarterbacks. Everything was working. Offense was doing its job. The defense was, despite the scoring, the defense has played well. I mean, these offenses are made to go up against talented defenses and still have
Mm-hmm.
success. So that's what you're going to get, and the score reflects it. It was tight right down to the end. 31-28 was the final. So definitely a classic game, a classic Cowboys game, and a classic holiday Thanksgiving Day game. So yeah, let's move into the offense. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so before we do our full breakdown here, I put together a little montage for our Cowboys fans. So special shout out to my co-host Mike. He has been talking about Malik Davis for weeks here on the Cowboys Gameplan podcast, and he has been nothing but giving him his props and been like basically like
I
giving
saw this
him.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been calling him out since like preseason to me, and then on the videos of past couple 2 or 3 weeks, we've been really talking about him fulfilling that RB2 spot. So just for Cowboys fans, let me give you a little flashback here. I put together this
If
for
I'm
y'all.
not mistaken, was early in the season or even in preseason. And he was ripping off runs just like that all preseason long. Because I remember one of the interviews that he had when they brought him back to the team was, I do not want to go home. I just do not want to go home. Man, that's all heart. Malik Davis has been a journeyman Dallas.
Out this play, 2nd and 1. They've got the first, and look out. Here goes Davis. Malik Davis sitting in zone, and the Cowboys.
So
Yeah, man, it's crazy
take the
because
floor.
yeah, I always liked Malik Davis. I like the way he interviewed. I like the way he held his head up and he had composure. And watching him play, I always wondered why, because he ran so hard with every opportunity. Even in prior years, it's like, why haven't they given this kid a chance? Because sometimes just wanting itness, will go a long way. And it was cool to actually watch that actually play out. And I remember watching that interview earlier in the preseason when he said, I think it was around the Rams, when we were scrimmaging the Rams, he was like, I just don't want to go home. And man, for some reason, that just really struck with me because I thought it was a really cool attitude to have, that you're willing to come in and do whatever it takes to help the team, even if your star's not going to shine as bright, being where you're at on the depth chart. And here it is, Thanksgiving Day, and all that hard work and all that effort and desire pays off, and you break a just crazy run off like that, on the biggest stage you can possibly get. So I commend that man. It's really awesome to see Malik Davis have that, and I hope it continues for him, and I hope it's appreciated in the locker rooms, because I think having that kind of mentality and that kind of effort is a really cool thing to see in a player.
Yeah, Malik Davis, man, shout out to you. As soon as he broke off that run, I looked at you and I was like, man, that he deserved that for
Yeah,
how much you've been talking about him on and
yeah,
off the team. What you said 8 times from this point in the past couple
yeah.
of
It's
years.
underrated. I think he's definitely underrated, and I think it's been clear with the last 4 or 5 carries that he's had that even coming in for a spell, I mean, he's going to give you 100%, and he does not hesitate. He takes the handoff, and wherever he's assigned to go, he's coming through there 100%, all 205 pounds. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
get out of the way because he's going to do his best to run you down.
Well, every week we talk about him, he only gets about 3 to 4 carries, right? And
Right.
this week
And
he
they're
had
all
the three.
impactful.
Yeah, and this week he always breaks one off for at least 10 plus yards in the 3 to 4 carries that he's been averaging. And this
Sure.
week, of course, he broke off 43 yards. So it was an amazing opportunity for him, and I hope he keeps growing. Now for the rest of the offense, Dak Prescott, had 27 completions for 39 attempts for 320 yards with 2 TDs. Javonte Williams, 17 carries for 59 yards. And then the wide receiver group had a day within itself. How ironic is this, right? Everyone talks bad about CeeDee Lamb, but he has 7 receptions for 112 yards and that first TD of the game. And George Pickens has 6 receptions for 88 yards. What are the odds that he would have 88 yards on the special day for 88?
It's interesting. I kind of find it, just watching in hindsight here, I'm kind of glad that everybody, gave him such a hard time last week after that Eagles game, because I definitely think that was at least in part on his mind on Thursday, and it impacted his because let me tell you, he did not drop a pass. It was either a big play, a touchdown, or he pulled a penalty because they couldn't actually cover the guy. And they can whine and cry all they want, but at the end of the day, we still put up 31 points. That
Yeah,
doesn't happen. That doesn't happen unless our team is talented enough to do it. You're a annual Super Bowl caliber team over there in Kansas City. So you're telling me that all it takes is a couple penalties to break your defense down?
yeah.
I don't think that's what made the game. And in my eye, going back and watching the tape, if you want to get technical, there were tons of penalties that were not called that could have been called on your offensive line, trying to stop our headhunters from coming and collecting the rest of Patrick Mahomes' body. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't worry about the penalties too much because it goes both ways.
Yeah, the one I'm thinking about top of my head, and I wish I could find a photo of it.
As a
But
Raku one,
the
yeah.
Ezaraku just
He
like
was,
on the
yeah,
fourth
he
and
was a
goal.
foot away, and if he had not been, lassoed and hogtied right behind Patrick Mahomes, that
But
could have
that's
that could have
that's
ended
that.
badly. But that's football,
Yeah, that's football. I was about to say that's the
right?
National Football League. You know how they make their
Yeah,
money, guys? It's all off controversy. Why do you think
yeah.
baseball umps have not been replaced yet? Because they want a human factor in the game, and that's what's supposed to make it controversial, and that's what makes them money, and that's what makes First Take and Stephen A go on the show and just be like,
Yep.
"Oh, well, it didn't happen," or "Hey, it did happen,
There
and
are
it is
bad
what it is."
calls
Like,
in every football game. There are missed calls in every
yes,
football game. But if you want to beat a team, there's only one way to do it for sure, and that's score more points than them by the time the clock expires. And that's what Dallas did. So
that's
I'm
what Dallas
sorry.
is.
I know you don't like losing. You don't like losing in Dallas, and you don't like losing to Dallas on Thanksgiving. But hey, we've been losing a lot this season, and now we're not losing anymore. And I feel pretty damn good about it, despite your feelings. And I'm sorry for that, but not really that sorry. I'm done. I'm off. I'm moving off now.
No, you're good.
I'm moving off.
Yeah, I mean.
I can't celebrate anything because every time I scroll through anything, there's a crying Chief or Eagle whining about something that had happened to him in Dallas, and I'm like, I'm sorry, don't come to Dallas.
Yeah, after these past 3 games here, I'm thinking about my little John Wick clip here.
Yeah.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Cowboys fans were dead for about first 8 weeks, and even I'm on this train. Like, I'm reposting stuff. I'm like delusional. Like, and I've been here the whole time. Don't get me wrong, and I've been very supportive. But like, I am coming after fans. Before I wasn't coming after fans, but I'm coming after fans now. Whether it's like CD Lamb, we need to get rid of him. He's no
Yeah,
good, or if it's like
moronic.
yeah, or if it's like, like, oh, Eagles fans are crying, boo, freaking who? You're 8-4. You got the division on pretty much in your hands, and you're going to make playoffs unless you happen to choke it, which I'm not going to be mad. Keep losing games. It don't affect me. I'm looking to get in the dance. I'm on the outer circle, and I'm looking to get that ticket in. And so this game was. It wasn't as crazy as the Eagles, but it was more of like the team is like solid. It's solidifying itself week by week. Like, the Raiders was a get right game for us. The Eagles was like, whoa, what is going on here?
Let's
And
measure
then,
how far you can go. Let's
yeah,
see
and
how
now,
much adversity you can handle, right?
yeah, that Chiefs
And
game
then
was like, hey, we are a real deal team
validation.
right now.
Yeah, that's validation. Yep.
Yeah,
And
and I
then
don't even,
stage 4. What do we say about Detroit? What do you think?
what kind of game it's going to be.
Yeah, what do you think? How do you feel about that one? Give me your raw reaction to that after what we've witnessed.
I think it's all about just consistency at this point. I mean, for you, it's they're going to be favored. You're going into Detroit, but this is all going to be about, can you stay consistent? Can your offense keep putting up points, and can your defense, still get them a couple of stops that they need to give the offense the advantage? Because like every team we've played has scored points on our defense. It's not stopping. We're not the Houston Texans. We're not going to hold you down to 13 points the whole game and call it a day. But what we
Right.
can do is get you two to three stops, or hold people to field goals, and that's where our offense has the edge, because we have the play creativity and explosiveness to go put up 7 at any moment's notice, and that's
Sure.
what people need to watch out for.
So, did you have anything you wanted to ask me, or can I field you a couple questions here?
Yeah, field them. Let's do
Okay,
some
so
questions.
what do you think, man? Let's talk about this Detroit Lions game. Out of all the, and it's probably going to sound like, you know, uh, crazy, but out of the 4 games as we talked about, and you probably go back and catch this in our earlier casts somewhere. The
Yeah.
Lions game is the one I'm most concerned about, and it's not because I'm so concerned about the talent that's on the field, because we've played the best of the best 2 weeks in a row, and we've held our own, win or lose, but win or lose. And the thing I'm seeing is we're in Detroit. We play very well at home, but we're in Detroit for this one, and I can't say that they're the biggest fans of Dallas up there, especially with that coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And what worries me is 2 things. Our running game defense has improved significantly, but this tandem of running backs is absolutely terrifying. So if we cannot at least slow them down enough to where we don't have to stack the box to stop this combination, if that ends up happening, I can tell you 100% what they're going to do. We're going to be chasing Jamison Williams all over that field on Thursday. They suck us down, they throw it over the top. They suck us down, and we've been susceptible to that even before this year, with other defensive teams. So they really have to realize that that's what they like to do down up there. They're going to run trick plays. They're going to run crazy disguises. I'm sure we'll see a flea flicker or something unique somewhere around the end of the second quarter, in the first drive, on a punt or a kick or something like that. So it always happens with them. Jamison Williams is obviously going to be their big focus, because I think they're down Amon Ra. I think they're down Laporta. I think there's one more, and their offensive line is a little nicked up. So that's my biggest concern is that thing. The one thing that doesn't concern me too much is their pocket presence with Jared Goff. Great quarterback, very accurate, but what's he going to do when there's good coverage on his receivers and there's nowhere to go with the ball?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the mobility we've been facing.
No, and that's a benefit for Dallas is, you've been very good against non-mobile quarterbacks post-dead trade line. It's really only Geno and Mahomes, or Geno you're looking at, but Mahomes and Hurts, you did a really good job at least containing them for the most part. And you've been close to a couple of sacks, but they've been able to escape with their mobility.
Sure.
When it comes to Detroit, it's all going to be about that two-headed monster at running back. Maybe that's what the biggest challenge is. You faced off two heavy passing threats off of the Eagles and the Chiefs, right? And now you're tackling a two-headed running back monster in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, which is going to be a problem within itself. And then it's going to be that over-the-top, Jamison Williams stuff, and that guy is a monster, especially with him being the main target. He's got that George Pickens mentality, that George Pickens route running, like all of it. He's like another version of Pickens, and that's going to be a huge threat for us. So it's going to be interesting. I'm worried about the Jamison Williams part because last year they put up 47 points on us and embarrassed us at home, and maybe that has a spark for our Dallas Cowboys team to go into their home and embarrass them even more. They do definitely have a lot more injuries than we have at the moment. Maybe if this was,
But that was us last year. That was us last year.
Yeah, last
We
year,
lived
even
into
the
that
first
game,
8
and
weeks.
we were pulled out on a stretcher. So
Yeah, and so it's gonna because both teams know what's at stake here. It's the same thing with the Chiefs game, right?
right,
Except for this one has a little bit more weight to it for the Cowboys because this is tiebreakers going into like wild card spot, right?
Conference, right.
Detroit is going to be in the hunt for the rest of the year. Green Bay is going to be in the hunt the rest of the year, and Chicago's going to be in the hunt for the rest of the year. And you already lost Chicago. You tied with Green Bay, and you need to win this one. So then if it's you and Detroit for that 6-7 seed.
or even our own division, we're one
Yeah.
1.5 games out. Just in case something crazy happens. So
Yeah, and even if Philly starts to slip, right, this is going to be the last game that you're probably not favored in. And I know I'm looking at the line here. They got Detroit -3, which mean, so they got them favored. And I think for the rest of the year, when looking at our schedule, we're going to be favored. But winning this game could mean a lot for the Cowboys. And I'll try to save a little bit for our preview. But yeah, that two-headed monster is going to be what's scary.
yeah, it's like, so let's do this. Before we talk too much about the pregame, we've mentioned what we already know and what we already can expect from Detroit just from our experience with playing them, I think, the last 2 years in a row. Let's try to think of some things that we haven't thought of yet that maybe we could call out for Detroit as to what they would do in preparation to play Dallas, from their perspective. We know that they're going to lean on their running backs really heavy. There's probably going to be a heavy dose of them two switching out to keep them fresh. And then it's going to be, how do we distract Dallas enough to bring them into the box to let loose Jamison Williams on us and their trick plays. So outside of that, what else can we think of? So we'll stay tuned for that. We'll get back to that and do a little bit more in depth on that and go from there.
Yeah, we can do player of the game, and then we can call it good if you're got anything else.
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, let me hit the viewers with the clip.
It's a shotty.
All right, sir. I think it's your week to start with
Yes.
shoddy player of the game. So what you got?
I'm going defense.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this one's going to go to Jadeveon Clowney.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The old man.
And here's why. 32 years old, playing on primetime, one of the all-time greats, on a team that, picked him up middle of the first quarter of the season, and he has been a contributor every week for the last 5 weeks easily. So watching him make those plays out there on Thursday was really awesome. I think it's great to have someone come in and play that hard for a team that essentially beyond that year he has no loyalty to. It's really, really awesome of him. I think he's a great player. I always liked watching him when he got drafted originally by Houston, and I hope he continues. We'll offer him up every primetime situation that he can be in and be out there, but there was a play where he got knocked down, missed a tackle on Mahomes, and then got back up, ran another 10 yards, and got him on the second attempt, and that really helped us in that moment. And he had another sack on the weak side as well. But yeah, congratulations to him. I think he was a difference maker because watching a veteran run people down like that after basically
Motivates
being
everyone
knocked,
else.
being knocked out of the play, it's an emotional force multiplier. Just like Quinnen Williams is a physical force multiplier. Watching a veteran go out there and play that hard to have success, it makes all of our young guys, want to rip your head off, and that's what we need to continue to do for the rest of the season because we're in a hole. So anytime a leader steps up, it needs to be recognized.
Yeah, I like that one. For me, I'm gonna go simple, but Dak Prescott, man.
Yeah,
From starting the game with that interception, but to balling after that, and then not to give the ball back to Mahomes, and with him and Shoddy and the
hardcore, man.
chemistry,
That's
yeah,
hardcore.
it is hardcore. Pulls off the Romo whoop de whoop on the two
Yeah.
point like attempts, doing even his own Mahomes magic by rolling to the right, dumping it off to Javante for the touchdown. I mean, he truly knew after that first drive that he needed to step up, and he stepped up in a huge way, and he dominated, and he didn't give the ball back, and that's what counts when you need to step up in the moment. It can be a close game the whole entire time, but you stepped up in the moment. You even threw the 50-yard bomb to CD, gets in the field goal range, and that field goal made all the difference in the game
Yep.
because at the end, you weren't trying to fight to go get points. All you need to do was just go keep getting a first down. How do we get 10 yards? How do we get 10 yards? And then Landry shift, call it a day. Let's go get our turkey leg or Jake Ferguson, fist a
The
turkey.
whole turkey.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and run out of there. If you hadn't seen that clip, Cowboys fans, watch CD's reaction to when Ferguson picks up a turkey. He's all like,
Yeah, he's
but,
arguing an OFT, man. He took the turkey and run off. But yeah, that's awesome. And a special shout out to number 9. Yeah, thank you for the heads up play
I
and
forgot
not
about
and
that.
not and not jogging it out on the rest of that one. We
Mm.
Cowboy fans certainly do appreciate that, sir. Thank you very, very, very
Um,
much for laying
sir,
your body and your mind on the line to catch that fumble Rooski there. Thank you.
Mr. Turpin, whether it was
Yeah,
off or on camera, I disrespected you a little bit, and never mind. I take it all
yeah.
back. You
Is a
you saved my.
retraction. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I take that back, and if anyone wants to call me out on it, you're more than welcome to. But I take it back. I'm saying it here. But outside of that, man, thank
One
you,
more.
Cowboys. Oh, you
Give
got
us
one more?
one more. Give us
Oh,
one
one
more,
more.
Dallas. Just one more in Detroit, man. Give us one
Yeah,
more, and then it's as far as you want it.
yeah. But Cowboys Gameplan Nation, we appreciate y'all. Thank you for the likes, subscribes, comments. We hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, and then in the wise words of Jimmy Johnson, how about them Cowboys? But until next time, this is Cowboys Game Plan.